In this video, you are going to learn how to graph a line in slope-intercept form. The first thing we need to know is what slope-intercept form is. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M represents our slope, and b represents our y-intercept, so where it crosses the y-axis. Let's first talk about slope. Slope is always your rise over your run. So how rise would go up and down, run would go left to right. If you notice, it's rising, running to the next point, rising, running to the next point. There's a couple different types of slope. Positive slope, so when our slope, our m here, is positive, our line's going to be going upwards. When it's negative, -3 is our slope here, it's going downwards. It's a negative direction. When our slope is 0, that means there's no x term here. It's a straight left to right line, horizontal. And then when it's an up and down line like this where there's no y, it's undefined. Alright, so we're just going to start practicing a couple examples. So the first thing we want to do is look at the equation, y equals 1/4 x minus 3. We're always going to identify our b first. Our b here is -3. -3, so we're going to look here. Our up and down is our y-axis. Our left to right is our x. So I want to go to -3 on my y-axis. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put a nice little dot. My slope, my m, is the numbers in front of the x, which is 1/4. This means I'm going to rise 1 and run 4 from my y-intercept. So I'm going to go up 1 over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a dot. If I notice, if I were to imagine drawing a line through this, it would be a positive slope, which it is. I'm going to connect my points with a line. And then I also want to draw arrows on the end because this line goes on forever. And this is the line here. Let's try another one together. We're going to begin with our b, which is our y-intercept, which is right here. It's the number that's not with the x, which is 4. My y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, put a nice little dot there. Now my slope is the numbers in front of the x, which is -5/3. Which means my slope is going to go down. So my line is going to go in this direction. So straight down. Since I don't have much room to go upwards, I'm just going to count down 5 because I remember in my first couple slides I said you can go down or up. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 since that's my rise. And I'm going to run 3. Since I talked about my line going down, I want to go to the right 3 and put my dot. I can imagine my graph of my line going downwards. So I'm going to click this line button here to nicely connect those two dots and continue my line on in both directions. Draw an arrow at both ends because the line goes on forever. I also want to double check my work and notice that my line is going downwards and that is a negative slope. This is where you guys will mess up the most, is the direction of the slope. Let's try one more together. We're going to begin with b. So I'm going to take my -3, that sign right there always matters. My y-intercept is my y-axis, 1, 2, 3. My slope, my m, is the numbers in front of my x, which is 2/5, which means I'm going to rise 2, run 5. So rise 2, and it's positive, so I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can imagine my line going the correct direction, so I did it right. You can always just use the button right now to connect your points, which is fine. If you want a more straight line, just use those dots there. You're going to try the next few by yourself and then just ask if you have any questions.